It's week 12, Thanksgiving week, but this show we're going to be covering the main slate on Sunday with our favorite plays on DraftKings, and we'll take a look at week 12 NFL survivor picks, all coming up next. Hello, everyone. I'm Eric Lee.
And I'm Michael Wiley, and we're the Fantasy Football Consultants.
Michael, Thanksgiving week. I hope you guys didn't miss it. I'll put a link on right now for we did both for DraftKings and FanDuel, a look at the Thanksgiving slate. Michael, what are you up to on Thanksgiving?
Family in town, lots of turkey, maybe a little turkey bowl, hopefully staying healthy. How about you?
Good, but can you enjoy Thanksgiving? You know, because your Raiders, they don't usually play on Thanksgiving. They're playing on Thanksgiving. Can you just relax and enjoy the game, or you're going to be stressed out?
You know what? I'm already over it. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, so I'm already planning on next year. So, yeah, it should be relaxing.
Yeah, I'm very relaxed watching the Seahawks these days. I can't even root for them to lose because their number one draft pick is going to the Jets. So it is relaxing. So in Survivor, we still got a few people left. We'll talk about our Survivor content at the end of the show. We'll timestamp it if that's the only thing that you're interested in. It's now starting. Our FFC contest on DraftKings. So if you qualified, make sure you sign up and enter. The first place gets $50. Michael, I'm not telling you who my lineup is, but it's good. It is good. I plan on winning the very first week.
Good luck. I got you for this one.
All right, Michael, what can they do if they really want to help the show out?
Yeah, would you please? We really could use the eyeballs. Pass it on to your friends. Don't forget to subscribe for those that haven't hit that subscribe icon followed by the bell icon. Thank you. And then don't forget to comment. We want to hear from you guys.
We appreciate you guys, and every time you do all these things, like subscribing, commenting, sharing with your friends, it all helps us. We are so appreciative. And this is why we do it. This is why we pulled Michael away from his family to do this show. Without any further ado, let's get into DraftKings and take a look at the main slate for Sunday. Still going to start at running back. And gee, look who's the most expensive. Talk about your recency bias. You go and score 5 TDs, you're going to get some respect. So I am not going to go Jonathan Taylor playing against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You did not play running backs against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, but Christian McCaffrey, Michael, is back. $9,000, sign me up. This is a guy that I like to get in our lineup, basically because in a cash game, he has such an incredible floor, especially on DraftKings with a full PPR. You can see in the 2 games he's been back playing at full strength, 10 receptions and 7 receptions. And it's just a matter of time, Michael, that this guy starts getting more touchdowns. I like the offense under Cam Newton. He's been successful in at least moving the ball. This week, they play a Miami team that doesn't have a very good defense. I think there's going to be plenty of opportunities for McCaffrey to pay off.
Yeah, how often can you get McCaffrey in a PPR league at 9,000? I think you got to make this purchase. And as you mentioned, versus Jonathan Taylor, coming off his by far best fantasy game. I think it appears like a bargain almost. And yeah, Miami, they say they have been a little bit more difficult for points purposes, but McCaffrey's the guy. So let's go with him.
Yeah, at the beginning of the year, you can see McCaffrey was $9,500. He was $9,900. But he's now been back. He's proven he's healthy. He's going to be the workhorse back, and he's game script proof. So, Michael, I just spent a lot of money. Sorry.
Yeah, no. So we got to save some money, and some of these guys at the top, I know that they're really tempting as well, especially like an Austin Eckler coming off a big week, or Najee Harris who gets so many touches. But we can get a guy because I think Aaron Jones is still going to be out. We can get a guy who's going to get all the touches for his team, and that's A.J. Dillon. The Rams defense coming off a much needed bye. could be at full strength, and they can be a little bit difficult on runners, but they're actually more challenging against the passing game. And you know that Rodgers, in addition to Devontae Adams, likes to use his running back out of the backfield. So I think AJ Dillon's going to have even better week this week than he had last week, and he had a pretty good week last week as well.
Yeah, he had a good week last week, despite a game script that was absolutely horrible for him. Green Bay was behind almost that entire game. And what gives? Only under $6,000 to get a bell cow back who will get heavily involved in the passing game, will get the goal line in an offense that normally puts points on the board?
I mean, this pricing is because Aaron Jones is a maybe, but there's no way Aaron Jones is going to play based on the injury that I saw. He's got a sprained MCL. It wouldn't make sense to play him given that they have a bye next week. So I think he's not going to play this week.
All right. Obviously, adjust accordingly if you hear any late breaking news, but we feel very good with AJ Dillon will be the bell cow this week. All right. Let's move on to wide receivers. Michael, what you got cooking there?
Yeah, I think we got a few options that are not as expensive as Cooper Kupp and Devontae Adams or Justin Jefferson for that matter, who have really been performing week in and week out. And that starts for me with Deontay Johnson of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's clearly the number one receiver there in Pittsburgh. You know, early in that last game where they really didn't do much, he was getting the touches and he got in the end zone. I think he's going to continue to be the key pass catcher in Pittsburgh.
Michael, how is 10 wide receivers this week more expensive than Deontay Johnson? I mean, you know, look at the targets he's gotten. Lucky 13 in 4 of the last 5 games in which he has played. And, you know, he faces a Cincinnati defense that is no bueno against the pass. They've just been torched in a few games. And don't remind me about the New York Jets, what they did to them a couple of weeks with Mike White. And he is by far their biggest weapon of their wide receivers. Don't forget, is it Juju Smith-Schuster is out for the year. And I think he's going to be the guy Roethlisberger looks to over Claypool.
Yeah, he gets the close pass, and he also is the guy that gets the ball pushed downfield because he's the fastest guy on the team. So both a high floor and a high ceiling.
Okay, another bargain at $1,000 cheaper. It's really surprising why FanDuel's algorithm disses this guy, but let's just take advantage of it. Michael Pittman Jr. playing against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I hate to be a broken record, but folks, when you play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you do not want running backs against them. Instead, you'd love to get pass receivers, and certainly wide receivers. Why is that? Well, first of all, because they clog the run, it's easier to take advantage of them in the secondary, and they put points on the board. The offense of the Tampa Bay Bucs are high scoring, which is going to force Indianapolis to keep up. The Buck defense, which is so much better against the run, is going to force the Colts to have to use somebody besides Taylor.
Yeah, this pricing is clearly a reward for what happened this last week. And like you say, that Buffalo script just didn't play out for Pittman. But you know what will is this Tampa Bay script. I think Tampa Bay is going to be tough on the run, just like we said when talking about Taylor for running back. And so that means it's going to be Pittman's week. So I think this 5,600 is a no-brainer. Speaking
of 5,600, what else do we got?
Yeah, I like Elijah Moore. I think the Jets have figured out that he is a special talent. They talked about him early in the season as well, and he's just continued to get more and more targets each week. He went off this last week against Miami, and Houston's, as you've talked about, they play social distancing defense. They're one of the worst defenses against the pass, and you can see it if you watch the games. So I think this could be another big week for Elijah Moore. Not just a high ceiling, but also a high floor.
But look what he's done in the last 4 weeks. Look at the consistency there of the floor, scoring at least 13 points. And not sure who's going to be back there throwing passes for the Jets this week. It's been a QB carnival, but it doesn't matter whether it's Mike White or Joe Flacco. It looks like they have a rapport with Elijah Moore. I just hope it isn't the rookie. I can't believe I'm saying that. I hope it isn't Zach. But either way, I think we can expect more from Elijah this week.
Yeah, exactly. What do we want to do at tight end, Eric? We
Uh,
gotta save some more money. I think.
Okay, I want to punt. That's what I'm going to do. This is a punt play at $3,000. Jared Cook. The fact is, Jared Cook is old, and there are bigger weapons on this offense that are being targeted between Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, and even Williams now is starting to get back in the flow. But he's still running routes. He still is giving you some type of floor. And when you've got Justin Herbert out there moving the ball in the air, you figure you're going to get something. So at only 3,000, it's not so much that we think Cook is going to do so well for us. It's the price that allows us to do other things. Say one of the main reasons both you and I decided to go with Jared this week is we promised our relatives we would do a little bit of cooking. So this is our one attempt at cooking this week.
Yeah, that's. I bet that's right when it comes for both of us. I love it. All right. So in the flex spot, let's see what we got in that kind of high $5,000, low $6,000 range. So yeah, let's stop right there. So I really want to kind of target the three guys who are playing against opponent ranks that are high. Kittle's tempting. He's looked really good, but that Minnesota defense is really tough on tight ends. We don't know if Patterson's going to be back this week against Jacksonville. So for me, the pick is to go with Barkley. He showed that he was healthy. He scored, a decent amount of fantasy points this last week in his first week back against the Tampa Bay defense that's super stingy against running backs. And frankly, with what was going on the sideline between the head coach and the offensive coordinator, I think they're going to try and get Barkley more involved in the game. And I think the Philadelphia Eagles is a great place to go. So I don't know if he's going to score like he did against the Saints in Atlanta early in the season, but at $6,300, I think Barkley, you're not going to see him this cheap ever again, in my opinion, this year.
Yeah, he's way too cheap, and especially on DraftKings that rewards a full point per reception. So as a guy, as far as cash games that you want to get a floor, I really like this pick in our cash game. And he faces a Philadelphia defense. He'll welcome them after facing Tampa Bay, a below average Philadelphia rush defense.
So Eric, we got $8,000 left. What do we want to do at quarterback?
Let's see. Well, what I would like to see us do at quarterback is, let's see, why not Tom Brady and not pick a defense? How's that? I don't think DraftKings will allow us to do that.
Yeah, it's too bad because sometimes the defense. Yeah, there were some defenses this week that scored negative.
Yeah. So at $5,600, give me Cam Newton, and you can look and see. Yeah, we have both Cam Newton and Christian McCaffrey. That's both could be like a floor because to the extent Carolina scores, it's going to be one of them. And it also is a little bit of a ceiling play because can Christian McCaffrey catch passes from Newton and score? Absolutely. So, of course, if you're going to do this, you want to expose a defense you think that is below average. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Miami Dolphins, 29th ranked pass defense this year. So I just love his floor, Michael. Cam Newton, look, he'll throw the ball if they need to, right? But he gives you such a tremendous floor by how much he runs the ball.
Yeah, and sadly enough, we really can't afford anyone above him.
Let me ask you this question. Let's just assume you're starting from scratch and you're looking at the quarterback list. If you were going to go, Michael, somebody that's not super expensive, let's at least say below $7,000. Um, Given the price, is there someone that immediately catches your eye? It's like, yeah, I'd love to build the lineup around this guy. I'll tell you who mine is, and then I'll let you tell you. Let you go first though.
Yeah, I mean, I look at, kind of some of the matchups, and the only one that's somewhat tempting to me here would be maybe it would be Justin Herbert, who's just looked really good lately, although the Denver defense can be stingy, and maybe Carson Wentz up against Tampa Bay. But the Colts are going to continue to try and use Jonathan Taylor, I think. So no one.
Yeah, well, they may not be able to. It's funny you didn't name the guy that I was thinking. So I was thinking Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow gives you such a floor because he has so many weapons that he can throw to, and he plays he's playing at home, and he plays a Pittsburgh's defense that has, it's generally a good defense, but they haven't done well against quarterbacks this year.
Yeah, since TJ Watt had gone down, I think you're right. I forgot about that. So yeah.
So you certainly can pivot if you have the extra $600. But let's go to defense, and we're going to scroll to the bottom, and we're left with 4 potential defenses. Let's break it down. So it's really, to me, between the Texans defense and the Vikings defense. I would prefer the opponent of the Texans. Now, the Vikings, the nice thing that the Vikings bring you is they put pressure on the quarterback. They have, I believe, still the most number of sacks as anyone in the NFL, over 3 a game. And the question is, how do you think, game script wise, what do you think about this game, Minnesota and San Francisco?
Yeah, San Francisco, of all the teams, has really just rediscovered the running game. And I think that's the way that they're going to attack Minnesota, which is really what needs to happen for Garoppolo to have success. So yeah, I just don't think they're going to have as many opportunities as the Houston Texans will against that New York Jets offense that's been really, really tough for their quarterbacks.
Yeah, so they've gotten just a little more than 2 sacks a game, Houston. But boy, did they look good against the Tennessee Titans without Henry, without Julio Jones, and for half the game without A.J. Brown. But a lot of interceptions, forcing turnovers, a few sacks. So let's go ahead and put in, for now, the Texans. We'll continue to watch the news this week and see if there is a pivot play or value that comes up in this lineup that we would want to make some adjustments. So we're going to go in the studio and talk NFL Survivor. All right, Michael, we're up to week 12 in NFL Survivor. Almost everybody has been eliminated. You and I have been eliminated multiple times as far as you look at our top pick. This has been a year, it's later in the year, that has just been so unpredictable.
Yeah, no, it's been rough. Been, like you say, carnage over and over and over again. And this week's perhaps the toughest of them all. What do you think?
Yeah, so this will probably be the last NFL Survivor segment that we put on the show. If you're still in your NFL Survivor content, put it in the description of the DraftKings show and let us know what you're thinking, and we'll have a conversation. But just looking at our YouTube analytics, less and less people are going to this segment. So we are going to cut it off after this show. But we didn't want to cut it off in NFL in our FFC Subscriber Appreciation Week. So let's get into it, Michael. Here are the top 6 picks based on the spread. Dallas is at home, 7.5-point favorites over your Raiders. That's it for touchdown favorites, folks. New England, 6-point favorites at home against the Tennessee Titans. Buffalo, 5.5 points at New Orleans. And then we have 2 4-point favorites. It's both division games, Cincinnati and Baltimore at home against Pittsburgh and Cleveland. And then the final pick, the only other pick that's more than a field goal favorite, Philadelphia, 3.5-point favorites, a relatively hot Philadelphia team playing at the New York Giants. Whew, Michael, how do you break this down?
Yeah, so I know New England's looked great lately, but anyone who's going to pick against Tennessee, Even without Derrick Henry, I think I just think that's scary. I know it's in New England, which helps a lot. Buffalo's looked so bad lately in the last couple of games. I understand why they're favorites. New Orleans has been pretty bad. There's nothing
Can
really
I
that's
stop you there
appealing to me.
just so I can comment and we can get rid of those games? I just don't trust New England, and I don't trust. I trust Buffalo more than New England. Look, my number one pick is Dallas.
No
If you
question.
still have Dallas, just pick Dallas. But what if you've already picked Dallas, like a lot of people I think have? And I feel like the New England and Buffalo game's a trap. I have more confidence in Buffalo, but Buffalo has such incredible future value.
Dallas for sure is the number one choice for me as well. So Cincinnati and Baltimore at home, but they're playing rivals, and Philadelphia is on the road, so at a rival as well. So I'm scared.
Yeah, I don't feel good about any of these, but here's the thing about Cincinnati and Baltimore. They have very little future value. So it's all about who do you think will more likely win this particular week. And I'm really surprised that you're struggling on this because you have said all year long that you just don't trust Pittsburgh. And when I look at Pittsburgh and Cleveland, Cincinnati was the team that knocked me out. So it's hard for me to be so big on Cincinnati, but they look good against your Raiders last week. They feel like everything was clicking. I think my second pick would be Cincinnati at home against Pittsburgh. We already talked about how TJ Watt is out. And I think that's big in slowing down this Bengal offense.
Yeah, no, I know where you're coming from there. We saw what the Chargers were able to do against the Steelers, but the Steelers came back. They gave them a little run for their money. And Baltimore can be good when they're playing right. But Eric, I don't think I can get behind anyone here. So for me, it's a clear Dallas. If I have to pick a number two, I guess I'll just go with my buddy Eric and go with Cincinnati.
Oh, don't follow me, because then we could both be wrong. But you really, I thought I had a pretty outrageous pick. I'm going against the lines makers, going with look, Dallas is the number one pick. That's obvious. But after that, the question is who's the second pick? Mine is Cincinnati. Do you agree over New England and Buffalo, who are higher?
Yeah, maybe I go Buffalo there. I just think Buffalo's going to get right. They're going to get right. And this is the time to get right. And so I think I'd go with Buffalo.
So here's the deal. Ask yourself whether Alvin Kamara is playing. If Alvin Kamara is playing, I can get on board with the Buffalo. I'm fading the Buffalo pick. But if Alvin Kamara is out, I'm going to be with Buffalo. But here's an advisory. Two of the games that Michael just said, his two favorite games, are on Thanksgiving. So don't dilly-dally with your pick. Make sure that you get your Dallas pick in. And if you don't pick Dallas, I think both of our recommendations are Buffalo. Mine, though, is only if Alvin Kamara is not playing. If Alvin Kamara is playing, I would pivot to Cincinnati. Just one last thing. Why not Philadelphia? I just don't trust them. I don't think that they're as good a team, and the Giants got kind of their weapons back on offense.
Yeah, the Giants are starting to get healthy, and I think that something's going to happen with that coaching situation, which could help. But Philadelphia has looked pretty good the last couple of weeks. You have to give them some credit for that.
But again, these are toss-up games. I strongly believe we're going to have at least two of these underdogs point out wins on this list. Michael, it was awesome this year breaking down NFL Survivor with you. Thanks so much for co-hosting with me. And thank you guys for watching. This is one of the last videos in Subscriber Appreciation Week. I just want to end by saying thank you guys. Thank you so much for all of your support. We will be back next week with both DraftKings and FanDuel shows. Wish everyone a happy and safe Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.